Hi and welcome or welcome back to Love on the Brain. I'm your host, Kay Van Dunk, and I help independent women who are single, divorced, or widowed find their soulmates while staying true to their high standards. In each episode, we dive into a frustrating question you may have about love. I'll share some insights, and then we can reframe it with an afformation or askformation to help you lift your spirits. If you haven't already, please subscribe and leave a great review on whichever platform you're listening to this podcast on. Your reviews help other amazing singles find this podcast too. Okay, let's jump in. Today's question is, do I have to be high vibrational or high vibe to attract love? And I say this a lot online in the law of attraction spaces where basically the thought process is that you have to be or maintain a high vibe to attract whatever it is that you're looking to receive, whether it's money or a new house, a new car, a new job, or of course, love. I don't love this concept of being high vibe all the time. And part of it is because it's okay to not be high vibe all the time. I don't think it's possible to be high vibe all the time. We have moments where we have ups and we have downs. We have moments where we believe and moments when we don't. It's completely a part of our journey. And of course, you want to be in a better place to attract what you want, not just from a frequency standpoint of being a vibrational match to what you want to achieve, but because it's kind of a downer to always feel like you're not going to get the thing that you're hoping for. So I get where they're coming from with that. I just don't think it's healthy to have this kind of mindset that you won't or can't get what you're hoping to get if you don't maintain this sunny optimism. And the whole high vibe thing, it can really put a blame on you for not getting the things you want. And that's the part that I have the biggest challenge with. So if you're doing the work, you're putting yourself out there, but you haven't gotten it, the first question is, well, what's your energy like? Are you maintaining a high vibration? And it's like, yeah, damn it. I'm doing what I have to do to get what I want. But you know what? If on one hand, you're telling people that you're not in charge of this journey and everything you're doing is great except for this one thing, and it's the one thing you're not doing, then it's going to feel even more out of reach. It doesn't leave space for the fact that you are not the one who's bringing all this about, right? Whether it's the universe or God or a higher power that you believe in, there's space in there for that power to do its magic, and that's not you, and that's not related to your vibe. So this kind of thought process of, oh, you didn't get that job? Maybe you weren't high vibe enough, or you're still single, and you're probably not matching your soulmate's frequency. It's draining. And when you're already struggling, it could kind of feel like you're being kicked when you're down because, of course, you're upset. You don't have what you want. So I get that it's hard to stay high vibe when you're working through something very, very personal, especially like wanting a soulmate. You've got a lot on your plate, right? You've got your work life that you're balancing. You've got your social life that you're balancing, your relationship with your family, hobbies, and maybe even school or some kind of other education that are taking up a good chunk of your mental and emotional and spiritual energy. And then to put another piece of this into trying to find your soulmate, it can be hard to maintain that. You've got a lot going on. It is a challenge to maintain any level of optimism when you've gone months or weeks or even years without the thing that you want. Sometimes there's these law of attraction or law of assumption activities you can do to kind of prove to yourself that you can manifest. And they're supposed to be very detached, very lightweight, like, in your mind, envision seeing a yellow VW Beetle or a $50. And it's supposed to be kind of a way of telling yourself, my manifestation is at hand. Yep, I could do it. I just saw a VW Beetle, or I just got a $50 back in the store and I haven't seen one of those in years. Got it, universe. I hear you loud and clear. That might help, but it's different to get a silver coin versus manifesting something you want really, really badly. You're human, and life isn't all sunshine and rainbows, and sometimes it's okay to let your vibe dip. That doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It's important to allow yourself that space to feel your feelings. Don't tamp them down. Don't feel like you have to pull yourself out immediately. Live in the frustration, live in the sadness or the defeat. Don't rush through these emotions, because the more you try to push past it, is the harder it can be to come out of it, because it doesn't feel authentic. Of course, you want to be in a positive mindset, but you have to work through these emotions to get through to the other side. You're not just getting stuck there, you're just wallowing for a little bit. It's all part of the journey. So, yes, staying positive is key, but you're not a robot. You can't just eat more, flip a switch, and then your programming will make you be high vibe 24/7 going forward. If it was as easy as being high vibrational to attract your soulmate, then you would never even know this podcast exists, because you would be in the arms of your sexy, loving, extremely rich and generous soulmate. A lot of this podcast is about using your mindset to attract your soulmate. And yes, that's a big part of it, but it's not the only part of it. Like, even in my coaching, there's other practices we do that are a little less theoretical, that help you move through some of the mental blocks you may have, or some of the stagnancy that might be there. We don't really get into that on this podcast, because it really is literally love on the brain. So it's about mindset stuff, obviously, because that's the stuff that affects you day to day. Your brain can start to play games with you and tell you can't achieve this, you can't do this, you're doing it wrong. So it's going to be a challenge to overcome that every step of the way. You don't have to force yourself to feel good all the time. You just have to recognize it and work through it and keep going. So today's question was, do I have to be high vibe to attract love? And we're going to flip that with the affirmation of, why does love flow to me so easily even when I'm not high vibe? And that's, why does love flow to me so easily even when I'm not high vibe? Like I said, sometimes when your vibe dips or your energy dips, it doesn't mean you're not on track for what you want. It just means that you are recalibrating and you are processing some of the steps that you've been through. But love doesn't only flow to you when you're high vibe. You are still worthy of love even when you're struggling. You can still find love even in the dips and the valleys. As hard as it may be to maintain the vision, even if it's just a little mustard seed size grain of faith in the back of your mind, knowing that you are capable and worthy and willing and able to find your soulmate, then that's really all you need sometimes to pull you through. Don't feel like you're failing yourself or failing your soulmate or failing at a challenge, because your vibe isn't always perfect. And don't feel like it's the only thing preventing you from finding your soulmate. There are so many other factors at hand that you can't and will never be able to control, and you may never know, that are slowing down the process and maybe even priming your soulmate. Like I always say this, it's a two-person process. So what might be slow for you, on the other side, your soulmate could be going through some things and getting polished up, so he or she is nice and shiny and ready for you. And that has nothing to do with where you are on a high vibe level. So just give yourself a breather, work through it, and you're going to come out the other side just fine. I like to close out the podcast by asking what you're grateful for, because gratitude is the highest vibration of all. So just take a moment and think of one thing that you're grateful for. As always, I'm grateful to you for tuning in and love you for listening. And remember, when love is on the brain, asking better questions can lead to better answers.
You know that deep down feeling that love is meant for you? That it's supposed to be easier than this? You're right. Love isn't something you chase, it's something you attract when you shift into the energy that calls it in. The problem isn't you, it's the way you've been taught to approach love. I help women break the cycle of overthinking and searching so they can finally start receiving the relationship they know is out there. That's exactly what we do in one-on-one coaching. We clear the hidden blocks, keeping love just out of reach, so it stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling inevitable. If that hit home, let's talk. Book a free discovery call with me in the link below and let's shift this together.